LA Skid Row, and I want to
Hello, hello, hello to everybody. Hi, Travian. How you doing?
Hey, Laverne. Hey, Hey, everybody.
Hey, hello, everybody. I don't even see no comments. I don't see nobody saying hello, but it's all right because we know they are in the house, y'all. We know y'all in the house, and we're gonna have a great show for you all today. Welcome to the Hood Conservative Podcast with your host Laverne Spicer and Travian Cutie, and you know we are so hood. We are so hood.
I'm refined hood.
well, I'm so hood. I am so hood. So anyway, we're gonna move right along, and we're gonna talk about the latest news that's going down in your community. Traven, what you got that's hot off the block, girl?
I thought we would start off with a little bit of controversy, but not too heavy because we'll crescendo throughout the rest of the show. So, we have a stand in producer today. Want to thank Mark for coming in and covering for our normal producer, G. So, if you
and
can, I
and
sent the
G,
clip.
get well soon.
Yes,
G,
get
get
well
well
soon,
soon. We want
G.
to see you back.
Exactly. So we have a clip in which to kick off the show. Mark, if you could be so kind as to roll that, please.
On
If he
LA
can hear
Skid
it.
Row,
There
and I
you
want to point out a few things that's gone on here in the past few years. In 2023, Gavin Newsom set aside $750 million to build tiny homes for people just like this that are surrounding by me. Somehow that money's gone. In 2019, they set aside $24 billion to go towards the homeless. Somehow that money's gone. It's unaccounted for. I want to talk about a few politicians from here. One is Nancy Pelosi. She's been serving these people since 2007. Her net worth is over 120 million. Another person here, Maxine Waters, she's been serving the people here in California since 1990. Her net worth is over $10 million. And Gavin Newsom, who knows what his net worth is, but we know he is building a $9 million home in San Francisco, California. Their leaders, the leaders of California, they failed these people here in Los Angeles and in California. California has actually been one of the highest states in America that people have fled from. Over 66 million people have left California in the last few years, and yet Gavin Newsom, he's out there holding a podcast when he should be working on his state. He might be making a run for it in 2028, and I hope people remember this that's behind me.
Wow.
Was that your clip? Was that your clip?
It might have been. I thought you had sent it.
No, I didn't send that
Okay,
clip.
well, that was my clip.
Okay.
Now that I think of it, yeah, it was. It never ceased to amaze me how these people really don't give a shit about their districts, about their constituents, about people that really support them. But
and yet they still keep getting elected.
They still keep getting elected, and not only that, look at how hard they fight for the illegals. Look at how hard they fight for the illegals. I don't know why I can't see the comments. Can you see them?
I cannot see the comments.
Mark, why we can't see the comments, man? What's going on with that? I can't see
But
nothing.
we know you're commenting, so don't think we're ignoring you. We just can't see you.
We just can't see it because y'all know if I could see them comments, I would surely.
And while we're waiting for Maj Touré, if you all remember him, he's the solutionary Black Guns Matter. He has joined us before, so we're waiting on him to join us as well today.
So y'all, I can't see your comments. I can't even. Oh, okay, they're coming in now.
Okay, Georgia. Okay, hey.
Georgia, you can see it too.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
So,
hey, Dr. B, hello. Oh, happy day. Y'all keep coming. Ohio in the house. Georgia in the house. Miami in the house. What you is, Traven? Tennessee?
I see Ohio.
Ohio.
Dr. B is in Ohio.
Okay.
Just to touch on that clip that just played, we as a country witnessed, the devastation that ravaged through California. President Trump showed up, talked to some constituents out there. people were really, broken down by the lack of competence of the state of California government. And I
You mean
think,
the lack of incompetence?
well, I think whatever it is, they failed the people of California.
Big
No
time.
water. The water's not even a public domain now. It's privately owned. So many different um, red flags that have gone up, and we hope that people in California will remember this when they go to cast their votes, because this was tragic, and it took the hearts of the entire country. It took the livelihood of Californians, and so we hope that Californians will wise up this time. They may not. 6 million people have left already just to flee. Just the the idiocracy that permeates throughout the state. So let's see what the voters of California do, because it hasn't gotten better. We see, the wrinkled up California raisin, James Brown wig, who's been in her district for 20 plus years. They have not voted this woman out. But every time I'm in California, all I see is homeless. I mean,
That's it.
I could be in Beverly Hills, I could be in Bel Air. It doesn't matter where I am. They're, taking a crap on people's lawns. It's a ridiculous place to be. I used to love California. Could not wait to be in LA. The beautiful weather, the beautiful people, the sightseeing, the shopping, the food. You can't pay me to go to California. Go to LA. If I'm in California, I'm somewhere far outside of Los Angeles. I think Montecito still does well. I think Orange County does well. So we'll see what the constituents of California do in this
So
upcoming
then
election.
for me, the question becomes, when these people vote, or even the ones that choose not to vote, why are they not voting to make the changes that are necessary? Why are they allowing these same old people like toe down wig wearing Maxine Waters and Karen, who couldn't answer a question at first, and Gavin Newsom? Why
Right.
are they allowing those type of people to, and then they had so much funds that disappear also, so why are they allowing these people to remain in office when you're right, Vicky, just straight up crooked elected officials that care nothing about the people. Now, as long as they're working to help the people and their constituents and putting the people first, that's what we want to see. We want to see them work as hard for the illegals. And they're really working hard for the illegals. They are out protesting. When have you ever seen in the history of the United States, have you ever seen people protesting to keep these illegal people here that have not been vetted? We don't know who these people are, but look how hard they fight for them. Just imagine if they put all of that energy into helping the homeless people get their life back together, and
Well,
helping them rebuild their life, and helping these veterans that are struggling get their life back together. Just imagine if everybody got together to work together just to make sure that things like this happen. But it's so sad because they don't give a fuck about that. So for me, that goes to say, then what exactly is their agenda? What is their agenda? Because it's nothing for the American people. It's not about this country. They're clearly, it's like what Tyler Perry said in one of his plays. If somebody shows you who they are, then believe them. So
right.
they are showing us exactly who they are. So why is it that we have a problem believing these people? They work really hard to make everything that Trump says. They try to come up against him. They try to make it look bad. But when Biden was in office that cannot complete a sentence, And you saw him the other night. He couldn't even complete a sentence. They keep putting this man on TV. First of all, y'all gonna listen. You getting this straight from Laverne Spicer, and I want y'all to know that don't nobody know what the fuck Biden is talking about. Nobody knows what the fuck he is saying. So why y'all keep putting his old fossil ass back on TV when can't nobody understand what the fuck he's saying? We just don't, damn it, know. Okay, so you know we need a change. The things that Trump do to
Hi,
push
Nora.
this country, but look, everything he does, they against it. But it don't matter what Biden did that was fucked up. Everybody supported him. The Democrats supported him to the fullest. He was having meetings. These meetings in front of the cameras. He's right there sniffing the kid's damn head. Okay? He's sniffing the damn kid's head so hard until he couldn't even remember what the fuck he was supposed to be talking about. And he's, if he see a kid in the audience, oh, hi, bring him on up. Yeah, he want to start sniffing another damn child. Nobody said shit, right? Let Trump call a child from out of the audience to come and sniff that little motherfucker on the stage and see what the hell they gonna have to say. What they gonna say? They would go, just ballistic, just to fuck off. They was fucking losing. But once again, everything that they do, they found a way to justify it. They saying Corey Bald-headed Booger, Hakeem Jeffries, and that nappy ass head that looked like a Brillo pad, Jasmine Crockett. They get them three together to get out there, and Jasmine gonna come up with some crazy ass shit, that don't even fucking sound right. But none. I mean, come on, Hot Wheels for the disabled man in the wheelchair. So if she call them Hot Wheels, what do she call the ones on the canes and walkers? What did she call the rest of them? I'm sure she got a name for them. That's okay. We gonna be hearing about it, y'all. We gonna be hearing about it because she gonna, wherever Republicans are on walkers, trust and believe she gonna come up with a name for them.
Well,
So,
I mean, Jasmine
and
Crockett.
speaking of that, somebody Nora put it in there. Did you see the protesters are getting paid to protest?
Yes.
Did you see that
Yes.
shit, right?
Yes.
Because when I saw AOC and she did that, she had that little town hall get together, and I'm looking, I say, okay, where all these motherfuckers come from? Because Kamala couldn't even draw a room. Joe Biden couldn't get nobody in there, not even if he was offering free fucking ice cream. He couldn't get nobody in there. Okay? So where all of a sudden AOC get a room full of people from? Now we can find out about the paid protesters. So now we understand a little bit better, because I'm like, who in the hell is coming to their rallies with these anti-communist, anti-American, communist, Marxist ass people?
You know what? As long as it's been exposed, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, come up with this new plan in which to, purport these narratives that they're trying to push. I think in actuality, people have now chosen to just overlook their rigmarole. Like it's now, it's passe. They keep losing, and it's a wonderful thing to see. I guess in the general terms of it, God don't like ugly. So all the ugly that they've been doing has now come to light, as it should, and I'm sure there's more to come. Now that's what I was going to talk about. So Jasmine Crockett and her loud mouth has very good company. If you all saw Letitia James pop out talking about, I am prepared. I was raised by the best.
Which we had that
I
clip.
went to Howard University. I ain't scared of no president. Girl, you scared as hell. Because they went to those properties and found out you didn't live there. But before they even announced the situation. They ran utility bills to see who the utility names were in, not yours. They did all the research before they made this public. So you just finding out because they made it public, keep talking. You're going to drill yourself into a hole. I get it. You're, a prosecutor, but girl, you should know better. So when you get up on that stage and you're pompous, come on, ladies, don't. Don't do it. Don't be a Fannie Willis. Sit your big Shrek looking self down and try and figure out how you're gonna protect yourself because you are busted. Mortgage fraud, the same thing you tried to indict and charge Donald Trump on, the same thing. Look at God. I know President Trump is sitting back like, let these chips fall. He doesn't even have to say anything because she's already lost this situation. So this is going to be a spectacle. It's another embarrassment, for a Black woman in a position of power to, falter and just make a terrible, contribute to the terrible reputation that we are receiving in the world of politics, in the world of, being in positions of power, from Black women who just make us seem ignorant and make us look terrible to the world.
Absolutely. And this reminds me of a saying that they had years ago, and it goes, "Oh, what a web we weave when we practice to deceive." These people have thrown so many stones at Trump. It's like when you point a finger, you got four fingers pointing back at you. So they've been pointing their fingers at Trump. So now everything else is coming back to them because they have skeleton in their closet. So Letitia just got busted with hers. So we
Alvin Bragg is hiding his fat behind. He's staying quiet. He has figured it out. He's like, let me sit back in the car.
Let me sit down and shut the fuck up. That's what he figured out. That's what he figured out. See, sometimes it take you a little time to figure that part of the deal out. Just sit down and shut the fuck up. And hey,
what's up, y'all?
Hey, welcome.
My bad. I was rumbling with the computer. My bad, y'all.
That's okay. Listen. So Nora says those people get paid $100 for 2 hours. And she had proof of the receipts that they get paid $100 for 2 hours to sit down there and listen to their bullshit. And actuality, I guess that would be the only way they could get somebody to come in there and listen to them. I mean, look at Biden. What the fuck they going to listen to him for when could nobody even figure out what the fuck he was saying? So yeah, that $100 for 2 hours would make sense, and that would explain a lot about how their rooms are getting filled.
Well, I mean, and all of this would have to be recorded at some point on their campaign finance reports or through the FEC. These things have to be reported. So I'm interested in seeing how they, anticipate to finagle this into a different name, fee, or cost so that it's hidden. But I do think that at the end of the day, that's going to have to be disclosed. So I'm looking forward to seeing those disclosures. So just to catch you up, everybody, this is Maj Toure, Black Guns Matter, solutionary. He's been here with us before. I think he has a very insightful perspective. As I'm trying to figure out, do you still call yourself a libertarian?
Yeah, I'm a libertarian. It has very conservative roots and a background in the sense of, I was a Democrat most of the time of my, young adult life. Then I went Republican. I got a little bit of pushback in the sense of some of the Republicans kind of like, I was like, you guys is kind of rhinos. So I went a little bit further into the libertarian space. And so ironically, that conservative and liberty-minded ideology is kind of like a good mixture of where we at, because a lot of, as y'all know, a lot of people that are Republicans ain't pushing for limited government, not calling out, the things that we need to call out. So it's been perfect for me. But yeah, libertarian.
I gave it up. I gave it all up. I became a constitutionalist. You
Yeah.
know, because I
Yeah.
think that's just the safest route. That
Yeah.
way, you know, you live within the confines of being an American. You don't cross those lines, which, you know, people want to say we're in a constitutional crisis right now. I don't know that that's true, but, you know, I can see, you know, just being someone who was, you know, in a position, you know, by our justice system, you know, under the last administration, how these constitutional rights can be impeded upon.
Right.
So, you know, I'm looking to make sure that I become a person who is steadfast on our life, liberties, you know,
Right.
and pursuits of happiness under the Constitution.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. So,
You
um,
know,
go
one
ahead.
thing. Well, go ahead, Travian.
No,
Go
no, no, no.
ahead.
I was gonna bring us into a clip. Finish that.
Oh, you was gonna bring a clip? Okay. Also, Nora said Jasmine cashing dead grandma's check, and Vicky said AOC did the same thing.
Are you in Texas, Maj?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
You're in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, would you roll the next clip, please?
Republican lawmakers continue to raise questions over millions of dollars donated to a nonprofit founded by Florida's First Lady Casey DeSantis. Tonight, we're hearing from all sides over allegations that taxpayer dollars were used for political ads against the legalization of marijuana.
In recent weeks, the public reporting has made evident that mistakes were made. There are lapses in reporting procedures.
The president of Hope Florida Foundation sitting before the Healthcare Budget Subcommittee, answering hours of questions.
We do know what that money was used on. Do you believe that donating the money to the Republican Party of Florida, donating it to Governor DeSantis' Florida Freedom Fund PAC, or paying for legal services and advertising are proper uses of those funds out of the Hope Florida Foundation's account?
Republican State Representative Alex Andrade accusing the nonprofit foundation, founded by First Lady Casey DeSantis, of receiving a $10 million donation from the state's largest Medicaid managed care provider, Centene Corporation. Centene was fined by the state millions of dollars for Medicaid overbilling, and Representative Andrade says $10 million of settlement funds were sent to the First Lady's marquee welfare assistance program, the Hope Florida Foundation, used to fight against the amendment that would have legalized marijuana.
This is looking more and more like a conspiracy to use Medicaid money to pay for campaign activity. That money ended up at RPOF, paying for ads, campaign ads against Amendment 3, and some of it, over $1 million of it, went back to Governor DeSantis' PC.
Governor Ron DeSantis chalking it up as a political attack.
These guys in the Florida House of Representatives, you got a cabal of them in the leadership. They are colluding with liberal media and the Democratic Party in Florida to try to manufacture smears against Hope Florida, against me, against the First Lady.
It comes as rumors swirl over the First Lady's potential run for governor when her husband's term is up.
Well, that would be your neck of the woods. Laverne. You right down there with Mr. DeSantis and his lovely wife, down there with $10 million missing to stop cannabis legalization, which didn't happen because it went through anyway. But what do you feel about that $10 million is missing down there in your neck of the woods?
Well, I think I'm gonna wait to see what happens. With that. The man already said everything that needs to be said. So I'm just going to wait that one out and see what happened. But I am going to say this, okay? There are so many nonprofit organizations out here that are actually doing the work and helping people like we are. And a lot of us really need the help and support, but we don't get the help and support that we truly need to do what it is we do. You know, I'm out there all the time feeding seniors, helping people in my community. Hell, I had 3 events this week and another one tomorrow, you know, and we need funds to purchase food, to purchase supplies. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to someone that sent a gift card here. They didn't put the address, the return address on it, but thank you for sending the gift card. We gave it to a senior. But I just hope that people that have these type of funding these type of funding sources will start to do more, for the community. Do more to help these agencies. Do more to help the people that need it the most.
Well, I'm going to speak on it since you are. So there can be one of two things happening here. He arranged for his wife to get that grant of $10 million, and in turn, they were receiving kickbacks. Or number two, this could be the parties opening the exit door for him and his wife to walk through in efforts to bring in Byron Donalds, who I'm a fan of. And I'm sure I could reach out to Byron Donalds personally and get Curly's house the support that they need, since
well, we need the
DeSantis
support.
has been in place
We
this
need
entire
it. We've
time,
been in business
and you've got
25 years plus, struggling like hell. Struggling like hell. When when people that really could do more to help these people out here that really, really, that's so heartbreaking, because you look at them every day. When I look at these people that are homeless, some of them I see so much potential in. Some of them have so much potential. It just shows how much that crack epidemic destroyed that fucking community. It destroyed it. And a lot of them, got hooked on those drugs and really never got off of it.
Mm.
And when I look at their face, like I see a lot of people that had potential that just lost their way. And I pray to God that God give them the strength to get back on track and to find their way back, because that thing destroyed homes, it destroyed lives, and some things, no matter what you go through, you just can't repair it. Some things that have been broken might not be able to be repaired. But it's just a heartbreaking situation when you look at our community. And that's why I fight so hard for the people. For me, it's not about Black people, it's not about white people, it's not about Chinese people, it's about the people. We need to put the people first. So that's the reason why I fight the way I do. That's the reason why I call them out the way I do. But what I can't understand is like the backlash that we get as people that fight for for this type of thing is because it's always somebody that look like us that's got some negative shit to say, like, why are you talking about Queen Jasmine? Why would you say what you say about her? Listen, so far as I'm concerned, fuck them. That's how I feel about them. Fuck them. Okay. Now, with that being said, when they send you the messages, though, they always block you, so you can't write them back. Now, that's the thing that gets me. Now, it's like this, right? If you have people, and it doesn't matter what party they're from, if they want to come and help the community, that's the main thing. But in our community, we always have people that's been fighting for years. So if you say, hey, we got somebody that's a Republican or conservative that want to help you guys, no, we don't want to meet with them. We don't want to meet them. Well, what the fuck are y'all doing? Because y'all can't pull off shit. I got people over here. They've been working 30 years. I ain't seen them pull off shit yet. But y'all don't want to work with other people. So right. I just don't get that part. Because the people that are in office, they're the ones that have the ability to make the change. They can do that. They got the purse strings. They got the connections. whether it's local or in DC. These people got plenty of connections, but yet, and I'm talking about the elected officials, but yet they refuse to do so. So what the fuck they getting elected for? And then our community always want to blame who? The white man. Bitch, y'all don't have, the white man isn't your fucking representative.
Right.
But you don't want to hold your representative feet to the motherfucking fire. Because when your representative come around, then you want to worship them. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh my God. Oh, just love your hat.
Can I take a picture?
Can I get a picture with you? They don't say shit about their water off at the house. They don't say shit about their lights are off at the house. They don't say shit about they don't have rent money. But y'all always want to cozy up to these people, but y'all don't put their feet to the fire.
Maj, would you like to respond to that?
There's nothing I can respond to that. I think it's 100% accurate. I think that, and that's the case not just in Florida. That's the case pretty much in most demographics. The areas where we see the most civic engagement and civic activity is the spots where we get the most done. And as we traveled around the country with Black Guns Matter, that was a key component of us creating a civics class, because we saw so many people that we would train on firearms basics, and a lot of guys would come out to help. And obviously our classes are free to all based on voluntary donations. But saying this to say, we would see how many people didn't have a solid understanding of the civic process as it relates to the Second Amendment. And not even just the people coming to help, but the beginners as well. Both. They would have this thought process that, well, the rule in my city is X. And I'm like, well, that's not the rule. That's not the supreme law of the land as it relates to firearms ownership, which speaks to a solution that we need, which is this conversation around the Bill of Rights, around the Constitution. Saying this to say, we started to morph into making sure that we had a civics component, understanding imminent threat component, stop the bleed component, a conflict resolution component. So it rounded out all of our training into the thing that we have now, which is called Solutionary University. Saying that to say, there's nothing that you can add to that, because the general public, you might want to take the picture, you might want to hang out, and I get it. You might like Ron DeSantis, you might like Donald Trump, you might like AOC. It doesn't matter. That's cool that you like them and all that other stuff, but at the end of the day, these are public servants. These are supposed to be statesmen and stateswomen that are supposed to serve your interests. They are in the job, especially on a local tip, city and state.
And that's the part they don't understand.
Right. They are in the job to articulate what your voice is. They're not there to really speak what their voice is. When you become a public servant, you low-key, you share and communicate with your constituents what you think, but you're actually there to speak what their voices said they want you to do at the House, at the, in Congress, in, the Capitol building and things of that nature. So I think that's the issue that we have generally across the board. And again, if anybody gets any, from my perspective from today's conversation, we ask everybody to support our work. All of our in-person classes are free to all. We're buying our building, but we also we have classes. We have a civics class. It's literally online. You can take it at your leisure. It's very simple, very informative. You get a curriculum. It's literally $20. I'm saying this to say, we have to, approach this from all angles, because we get that conversation a lot. Well, Maj, why are you talking about health and fitness? Maj, why are you talking about civics? Why are you talking about stop the bleed? Because these things, if you come into the game from the gun perspective and you don't understand the civic component in the Second Amendment conversation, you're doing yourself a disservice. So, Laverne is 100% correct there. You have to become involved and engaged on a local tip. And that will go up into, your representatives that you send to DC. And so, again, my time here today on the show was to just answer any questions and provide any solutions. And our Solutionary University website does that based on the 8 years that we've been traveling around the country, recognizing where we still light at, where, all of these communities could use a little bit of information. So I think she's 100% on point there. And the people will start to change the politician. Their moral compass, I don't need their moral compass. Most of them haven't studied the Constitution. I just need them to understand that they are supposed to speak the will of the people. But if the will of the people is deflated because the people don't understand it, then they can just get away with anything. So if we inform the people and the people understand and become more vocal about we want you to do this, then those politicians that we potentially could turn back into public servants or statesmen and stateswomen, those people will do the will. I don't care what their morals are if they're doing what the Constitution is. So 100% in agreement with Laverne there.
Mark, if you could you put up his website? I mean, the his Twitter page where the information is located at, so that people that are interested in taking that class can go there and sign in and register.
Actually, here's a quick way to do it, because we're trying to fundraise to buy our building at the same time. To get a Solutionary 9 membership, right? You can go to just donate to our work. I would prefer people donate towards the work, and then they just get the lifetime membership. So everybody that donates over $99, you get access to all of the classes: understanding imminent threat, firearms basics, civics, all of the curriculums. You get your meal plans, your workout drills, your shooting routines. Again, it's a holistic approach. So if anybody wants to support, go over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. SO like revolutionary, but solution. Givesendgo.com/solutionary and support there. If you want to just get one class, whatever you want to donate. But every donor over $99 gets access. I email you the entire thing. That's the site right there. And it's the breakdown. That video explains what our work is, how long we've been doing it, the donations that we've gotten. All of these things are very, very important. And so when you donate there at givesendgo.com/solutionary, every donor over $199, I'm going to email you literally from these phones that I got sitting right here. I'll copy and paste, give you access to the membership. But we definitely would rather people do it that way as opposed to just buying the class, because then that way, that funds our building fund as well as our in-person classes that are free to all. So any questions that anyone has, any perspective and value that anybody gets from today's conversation, please show your love at givesendgo.com/solutionary, and it's on the screen now.
Please hit that Give Send Go. Thanks for putting that up, Mark. Okay, alrighty. So, Mark, if you will find the Rob Online clip, please.
Is he frozen?
No,
Oh,
I'm here.
Let's see if he finds the right clip, because I think it's time to put,
What are you talking about? What's his name?
Rob.
Yeah, Rob. This shit here. Yeah.
I would like to apologize to the parents of Austin Metcalf for making, on behalf of the Black community, I would like to apologize to the parents of Austin Metcalf for making a hero out of the young man that killed your son. I apologize that there are so few fathers around and so few male figures around to teach the Black community about emotional discipline, about what's right from wrong, about emotional regulation, about not making a hero out of a thug and a criminal. I apologize on behalf of the Black community because they are the ones that are raising money for your son's killer. They are the ones that are funding this new lavish lifestyle that your son's killer is living. I apologize on behalf of the Black community because they are so confused about, again, what's right and what's wrong, that in some weird, twisted sense of racial solidarity, they would celebrate the young man that killed your child in cold blood. I apologize on behalf of the Black community because you don't deserve to see this. You deserve to be grieving your child. You deserve to be remembering your child. You deserve to be able to share stories about what an amazing human being and young man he was. But instead, you're subject to online mobs that support the killer of your child. You are subject to people that are raising money to support the killer of your child. You are subjected to people in the Black community that are making excuses for the killer of your child and making your child seem that he is somehow at fault for being stabbed to death. So for what you are seeing on social media, for what you will continue to see for the next few months, I apologize to you on behalf of the Black community, because a lot of us are so bereft of empathy. A lot of us are so angry and hurt and bitter and damaged and trapped in cycles of pathology that we would make excuses for a young man that stabbed another young man to death. And we are so trapped in that pathology that we don't even know which way is up. I apologize on behalf of the Black community for their treatment towards your son's killer. And I can only hope that your child can rest in peace and that you can remember him as he was. On behalf
listen, Rob is a bitch. So off top, Rob is a bitch.
And that's a fact. That's not just a diss. That's a fact.
Rob's a bitch. I want to give some clarity though. I am attacking. First of all, that's not an original idea. Rob stole that from a Black pastor. I forget what the guy's name. He was just as equally goofy for sure. But I want to be clear that that's clearly the grift. Rob stole that from a different pastor that said that same thing maybe 2 days ago, a day or two ago. So that's the first thing I want to address. It's not even original. It's a lame attempt to try to politicize and throw all Black people under the bus as if the vast majority of Black people are going, yeah, we're happy that Austin Metcalf is dead. And that's just not true. Okay? This is as stupid as the white people that go to find Black people and like go lean and kiss their feet and all that other type of shit because they're like, oh, we're apologizing for slave. First of all, you wasn't fucking there. Nobody was there. That's number one. And I get the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. The sentiment of, damn, your parent is gonna see some goofballs, and a lot of them are bots. A lot of them are bots. They're not real. On the white side of the conversation or on the Black side of the conversation, right? They're not real. They're fake. They're bot farms that exist in different countries. Ian Miles Chung is one of these types of people. He's a real person, but he's one of those. These cock blowers and meat gobblers, and Rob is definitely one of them. They go out of their way to try to be the spokesperson that's like, yeah, I can say degrading things towards Black people as if that's what it means to be a Black conservative. I'm from the Frederick Douglass energy of conservatism that happens to be Black. Okay. So this is this sycophant need for approval, want to show that I'm the Kiambo, I'm the Sambo of the bunch, and it justifies it justifies some of the low IQ troglodyte energy that's in that room that says, oh no, what he said isn't, if I say it, it's not racist. Rob said it. That's what's happening there. And we're seeing a lot of it. And we're seeing it right now with Rob. I just created some content on a brother that I had some respect for a while, Jason Whitlock. He doing that same meat gobbling. Okay. I want to be very clear to everybody watching. It's okay if you happen to be Black to speak on certain issues that the Black community has, as well as issues that the United States government, the corrupt versions of the government, in a lot of instances that happen to be Democrats, the things that they did to certain communities. They doing the same shit that they did in the 80s with crack. They doing that shit with opioids in the white community in Kensington and Philly right now. So it's not wrong for white people to say, yo, the government is putting fentanyl, overwhelming amounts of fentanyl in certain white areas. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's not wrong with identifying that the enemy is overreaching government. It's nothing wrong with Black people saying it. Black people, it's not wrong to say, yo, the school choice issue in our communities is horrible. We need to have more control over where our children go. There's nothing wrong with that. Your Blackness, your whiteness, your Asianness, your Latinness. I'm not afraid of the hyphen. African American, Latin American, Indian American. I'm not afraid of the hyphen. Where it starts to get a little bit fucked up is when people like this start pandering to low IQ, low information voters that are white in their base to make them feel good. As opposed to they can just be Americans and say, we all kind of got some shit with us. And but what these guys do is they go out of their way to tap dance. I've had people like Rob reach out to people to try to come to my Solutionary Summit, my one in Miami. I've had Rob, and I thought initially a lot of these guys, some of these guys, I thought they was cool at first. You know, and everybody are cool when I'm touching the CPAC stage and they know I could get in contact with Matt Schlapp and be like, yo, Matt, what's up? I want to do this. Right? So everybody's cool, but I'm watching their rhetoric and it's disgusting because not because I just think they, are, meat blowers. It ain't that. It's the fact that you don't have to do this. I didn't get on the stages right before Trump at CPAC and kill it talking about Frederick Douglass by tap dancing. I've been the same direct, aggressive, limited government, conservative / libertarian the whole time. I'll be in hoods all across America. I serve the American people. I work with any group of people, any individual that wants to course correct America to put our nation in a right direction. There's nothing wrong with that. But these guys don't got no chops. See, these guys thinks that it needs to be this tap dance game going on. If for example, first let me say this too. Rob does not speak for Black America
At all.
at all. I never hired you. You're not a public servant. You're definitely not a journalist. This is the same dude that right in the third trip going to DC that Trump did. It's the same dude that said, you're crazy if you think Black Americans are going to overwhelmingly support Donald Trump. That's what he said. He was wrong. And I don't care who people, okay, he wanted DeSantis at the time because he lives in Florida. I don't care who you wanted. You pick who you want. That's what happens in a free society, right? When you're choosing who you want your public servant to be. But I want everybody to recognize that now he hopping right back on Trump dick. But see, that's what happened when you win. When you win, they hop right back on. And see, I don't like people like that. Don't hop on my or any other winner's dick. I want beautiful women on my dick, bro. That's it. So these type of people are not qualified. He's been talking about, he ran with the story that Carmelo Anthony's family spent the money, $150,000 for Escalade, ran with the story that, he $500,000 went towards a house, of this, of that. First of all, if you ever bought a house before, you can't go from wanting to buy a house to going to settlement within 3 days to a week. That's not how it goes, bro. And I knew that it was not true because I immediately reached out to the founder of GiveSendGo. Huge shouts to Jacob Wells and his team over there because he's the co-founder, him and Heather. Huge shouts to them because I disagreed with Derek Chauvin's actions, but GiveSendGo gave him a fundraising platform, and that's the constitutional thing to do. When GoFundMe kicked Kyle Rittenhouse off, when they kicked Derek Chauvin off, GiveSendGo platformed them. So the same thing happens here. GoFundMe kicks Carmelo Anthony off. GiveSendGo goes, hey, we just a platform. Okay? Saying this to say, Rob ran with this story and was wrong. Then when I checked him in his comment sections about it, he goes, oh, well, if you read it, I was reporting on with the Daily Mail and the New York Post, legacy media. I was reporting on what they said, and that's why I'm in media and journalism and you're not. Well, that was bad journalism, bro.
He didn't quote them in his post, though. He didn't say those were the sources. He didn't list them as the source. He rolled that off himself. But this is the thing. He said that Black America was making a hero out of Carmelo Anthony. Not true at all. For me,
100% false.
Right. I didn't stand, and I still don't stand on either side of this case. But one thing that I do stand on is that he is innocent until proven guilty. And that's the bottom line. Everybody else's opinion is not going to make it into the courtroom. Right. It's not. But at the same time, me simply saying that he is innocent until proven guilty brought down a heyday of MAGA conservatives saying that I was a racist, I'm siding with a killer. Like, these are the things that make me question this entire movement. Because
Yeah.
for me, I was only standing on the side of the law.
The Constitution.
And that's it. But literally, I was demolished by people who I
Yeah.
got on the front lines with, put my life on the line for. And
Here's-
therein lies the issue. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing is that a black boy and a white boy got into it, and the black boy ended up killing the white boy. If a white boy would have killed this white boy, we wouldn't hear anything. If a black boy would have killed the black boy, we wouldn't hear anything. So everybody getting riled up because two kids got into it
a fight.
and one ended up dead, you're all hypocrites by not sitting back on this. You can have your opinion. You can be upset. You can be enraged. But you
Right.
don't demolish the people who simply give you the legal opinion in the case as being racist and siding with the killer because I'm black. I'm automatically, because I said he's innocent until being proven guilty, I'm automatically a racist siding with a killer because I'm black. And I think this movement needs to put themselves in check, because at the end of the day, we're not like black women who thought that they put Joe Biden in office because that election was stolen. We were a conglomerate with getting Trump elected, and the GOP will lose. I guarantee you will lose every election coming if you conservatives and you Republicans, you keep treating black conservatives like this. You keep showing yourself. My grandmother always said the worst type of racists are the ones that hide behind themselves. And that's what's happening right now. You're hiding behind yourself. I've been called monkeys, niggers, everything in the last 2 days.
Uncle Tom's, every day.
In the last 2 days, simply for saying this, I'm not siding with this boy. I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. I'm just saying he is innocent until being proven guilty. And this movement showed themselves. You really disheartened a lot of hardworking black conservatives that really got on the front lines with you. And y'all need to hear this, because y'all will ruin your own futures with this sitting in these racist chairs for your personal, not regulating your emotions. That's what happened in this situation.
Yeah.
All of this is made to divide us. That's what nobody is paying attention to. And I'm upset that these people who say, oh, I don't see color, because that's all we heard during the election. That's all we heard getting Trump elected. Oh, we don't see color. We're one. We're all Americans. Oh, no. If you look through all of social media right now, you all saw color. And I wanted to put this up that Bryson posted. It said he was upset about it because he's also been put in this situation. Partial judgment. This is what the party is doing. This is what the movement is doing. Partial judgment and spreading false news as long as it's about black people or Jews. That's what the party is doing. After 4 years of folks saying it's not about racism, it isn't about color, y'all just showed us that it was. I even defended the alt-right and ended up thrown under the bus several occasions because I don't echo false talking points.
Right.
Black conservatives, for the most part, except for the ones that were jumping on the bus with, oh, he's guilty, he should be in jail. We didn't say anything because we didn't know what happened. So you get what we remained silent and said, you know what, let this boy have his day in court. So we need to really have this discussion, and whether, these people, within these big time influencers, I mean, they really hammered into this boy's family saying, oh yeah, they went into an $800,000 house, like you said, but they put in fully loaded Escalade. If you look at these, hyper, hits that they were taking at this boy's family, only to be completely and fully wrong. And they don't have the decency to come back and say, you know what, I was wrong about that, but I'm still mad that he's a killer or he killed it. They don't even have the decency to do that. And that's how I judge the people within this party. Where's your decency? And you don't have it. And you prove that you don't have it. So you can take that how you want to take it. But me, who was a hardcore, staunch conservative, after becoming, after leaving the Democrat Party, wanting to believe in you all, fully fight with you, fully, because you were Christians. Ain't nothing about what y'all did in the last 3 days Christians. You are all hypocrites. And I'm here to tell you that. And you can take that. I love everybody. I love America, but when you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And you're getting this from a person who was steadfast and hanging with you. Okay? So take it how you want.
The lesson for everybody here is this is what everybody should do. It's different layers to this. One of the layers is the punditry is punditry and bots. That's the media component. The punditry are foaming at the mouth to make this about bias and race because that's just who they are. Right. Matt Walsh, that's who he is. Charlie Kirk, that's who he is. And this is me saying it. These are my opinions. Charlie Kirk, Matt Walsh, even I saw the libs of TikTok jumped in on it. Cool. Yep. That's who y'all are. And if whether you're doing it for the clickbait and the Elon bucks or whether that's how you really feel, doesn't matter to me. That's your principle. And that's fine. That's how you are. Now, the other part that's more sinister is some of these are programmed bots. These are programmed bots, and bot farms are a real thing. 1,000% a real thing. Where people in other countries, China, Russia, wherever, they have walls of phones and 1 or 2 or 5 people can engage with thousands and tens of thousands of accounts at a time. And that part is, you can usually tell those people by their pages. They fairly new. Some of them even are verified, but they're fairly new. Generally, they got like a weird glossy image for their profile. Very few followers. It's like letters and numbers in their name. That's one part. That's the part we all can ignore. But when you have the Brandon Tatums, the Jason Whitlocks, the Charlie Kirks, this is a PR firm. We've heard of Influenceable. We've heard of these companies, the DC Dranos. We see these people that come out with the same talking points, just like the left, damn near copied and pasted. And so when you recognize that, and I don't need anybody to agree with it, I'm just saying if you recognize it and if you start to go like, that looks a little weird. If that looks a little weird to you, and if you don't think that that's how we move forward in America, unfollow the pundit. Don't tap into their shows. Don't tap into their social media. Look for legitimate conservative and liberty-minded pundits and political commentators. Lawrence B. Jones comes to mind. Sonny Johnson comes to mind. This show, The Hood Conservatives, comes to mind. Maj Toure comes to mind. My point in saying this is, we got to get past this thing where we recognize that there's some bad apples. The good apples have to call the bad apples out and separate themselves from the bunch. That's what you have to do. And in doing so, you have to then put your energy and support into the people that are worthy of your energy and support. And if we and the people that I just named start doing that clickbait shit, all of that, you should stop following us too after a while. There's a difference between being aggressive, being direct, communicating effectively, calling it objectively, and, still while trying to unify. Right. There's a way to do that. What they're doing is not that. A Matt Walsh has no connection to the conservative community. Somebody cosplaying, just wearing a flannel and a beard, that does not make them a patriot. That makes them, he could be a barista in a Starbucks in Portland. That's it. So these conversations, we have to have them from a place of, what are you doing to strengthen the liberty and conservative movement? Are you trying to get the groundswell of people from urban demographic that are, Trump has been showing this masterfully. He's going in, when he went into bodegas in the Bronx, it looked like damn near stadium shows. Why? Because I don't know, things like when he was at the White House, when I was there, when he said African Americans helped build this nation, you built it. I was there in the White House. He isn't down talking any group of people other than people that are like, now I challenge Trump to be better on the Second Amendment this go around. I do. But at the same time, the GOP could learn from these things. And if you recognize that your political commentators are not doing this, you should not give them your attention and support anymore. Now, if you continue to, and you really in your heart of hearts are going, damn, what Trevion and Laverne and Maj was saying on that show, that's how I feel about how these guys, because it comes from a place of like passive aggressive vitriol and like low key hate. And that's why I call it bigotry. That's what I call it. If you recognize that and you recognize also that that does not unify all of the groups of Americans to come out of that Democratic side and go in the direction of liberty, conservative, GOP, Republican, whatever. If you recognize that and you don't do anything, then you co-signing the silly shit. And if you co-signing it, you are part of the problem. But, you know, this is why it's important for us to make sure that we are informing ourselves with solid, conservative, limited government principles, and let that be your shining light. That's it. The punditry came up because when Biden is in office and Kamala is in office, they could just rail against the left. Right now, what they're doing is, instead of railing against the left, because the left's not in control, they ain't got the House, they ain't got the Senate, they ain't got the executive. So with that being the case, now it's, we got to keep our clicks and views up. So let's just pick the what they perceive as the low end of the totem pole. Let's just talk about black people. Let's just say that black people are this thing. And it's an obvious play. So if you recognize that that's not going to heal our nation, it's not going to strengthen the GOP, stop supporting these people. And the list of these goofballs are DC Drano, stop following. Libs of TikTok, maybe, but sometimes, but her takes have become a little bit more weird lately. Matt Walsh, gone. Brandon Tatum, gone. Real AF, I think that's his name, American AF or something like that, gone. These people that have this narrative that's not objective, and the Carmelo Anthony case is a very good litmus test. If their argument is not simply this, they don't have to be for Carmelo Anthony. They have to say, this family, both of these families, one has more tragedy because there's a death involved in the Austin Metcalf's family. This family is experiencing death, and this family is experiencing the potential of them never seeing their teenage son ever again if he gets convicted. You should support the Austin Metcalf family, and if you decide to put towards the legal defense fund of Carmelo Anthony, then do it. But at the same time, we have no video footage. We have one initial police report. Most of the people that are stirring this up, being disrespectful to the father's wish, Austin Metcalf, his dad said, please do not make this about race. Please don't. And that's the first thing they go to. These people have not supported the Metcalf family. They're arguing to rile up hate. And I am of the belief that it's a psychological operation. And I bet you in some time, I bet you that these pundits that are doing it, that are actual humans, I bet you that they got paid to do so. I have no proof of that. But if I had to place my bet, that's where I'd place my bet. The average American, white, black, Spanish, anything in between, is not advocating for race. Is not advocating for a race war. They just want to pay their bills, live their life, have a safe and comfortable home, and have a vacation here and there. That's it. They want their dollar to not be broken down. And so many of these intellectual lightweights can't talk about the China tariffs, the all of those different things that's happening. What's happening to the United States dollar? BRICS is not slowing up speed. Brasilia, Russia, India, China, South Africa, them trying to make the United States dollar no longer the world's reserve currency is a real thing. So they're not having economic policy and tariff conversations because they can't. They are not sharp enough to do that. So they go to the culture and they pick, again, the lowest end of the totem pole, what they perceive to be, let's just talk about black people. Let's talk about the black culture. And alienating the work that the Donald Trump team has done to get inroads into those black, brown, Asian communities, to get those people to go, I can't go with this Democrat thing no more. It's a hustle. And if you recognize that, all you got to do is support the people that you should support that are not making that narrative. The Carmelo Anthony conversation and how they approach it is a great litmus test. And support the people that's just saying, hey, let's wait for some more of these results. Two families, this is a tragedy. And what it looks like to me is young teenage people with no conflict resolution skills got into it, and unfortunately somebody was killed. That is the conversation, and when the new information presents itself, I will reassess that conversation based on the new information. So that's, again, I hate to say this and it's seemingly like, you know, tying this into money, but this is the reason why we teach conflict resolution. Our classes are free to all. based on voluntary support because these young men needed to de-escalate. They did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And so support the people doing the work. Get away from the people that's just using it to take advantage of you. It's a weird thing.
You know,
Benji Irving
conflict
said,
resolution is so very important. Go ahead, Travian.
no, I was just going to read a comment. Benji
Go
said,
ahead.
you know, black tragedy and outrage is $1 billion business.
Yep.
You know, and so these people have continued to capitalize on the fact that black people are over emotional, and are dealing with some type of trauma. Does that mean that they should go out and kill somebody or rob somebody? No, but it
Right.
is the factual, you know, epitaph in our communities. So, and people who say, well, you know, black people don't want to face the accountability of their communities. We light up the black community all day, every day when it's wrong.
Right.
You just choose to overlook it until it becomes personal to you. So, you know, I just think that, you know, there really needs to be, you know, an overall assessment, you know, within this movement. You know, as you say, these big influencers really drove this tragedy home.
Yeah.
And it's a sad case that for me, like I said, I'm not married to the party. I'm not married to the movement. I'm not married to any of these people. I will not let you stop my progress, but
Right.
I will leave you all behind. I will walk away. And that's
Right.
what you don't want. You don't want somebody who is willing to get on the front lines with you, put their life on the line for you. When you lose that, there's no coming back. You can't
Done.
recover from losing people like me, people like Maj. You can't recover from it. It will destroy whatever future you want for yourself, your family, and this country. You will destroy it. And that's
Oh.
as honest as I can be with everybody. I think there just needs to be a step back. People need to put their emotions to the side and think about this logically. And the logical thing, the only thing here is that boy is going to have his day in court. That's it. There's nothing else for anybody to say.
I want to chime in because I unfortunately got to get ready to get out of here. My apologies, ladies. I want to say a few things real briefly. One,
Go ahead.
I would love for everyone to evaluate. They're making it easier. If the pundit class and the political commentating class is not checked by the actual political classes, say that's not how we do it. You should not vote for them. You should look into independent and you should look into libertarian. Green Party, I don't care. You should go there because the duopoly benefits by going, or you got to be Democrat, you got to be Republican, and you don't have to. You don't. So I would challenge everybody to look into independents, look into some of the independents candidates, look into libertarianism. Again, I'm a libertarian. I think there's goofies that say this same shit in the libertarian space, but it's way less of them. And they definitely don't have the voice that some of these bigger pundits have. Saying this to say, look at the people that are checking those people. And if they're not coming from the political class, then they agree with it and take your vote, your business elsewhere. And lastly, guys, if you got any value from this conversation today, I'm going to ask everybody, please support the work. We have 988 more donors at the $100 level, and we can buy our building. We are working feverishly to have one location where people can learn these types of things and teach all types of things for free in our one building in Philadelphia. That's what we need. So if you got some value, if you want to become a member, a lifetime member, and you want to support the work of people actually doing the work, please, guys, givesendgo.com/solutionary. If you're watching this on X, it's my pinned post. Follow me there, ask me questions, whatever it is. I got one more interview that I got to knock in for right now for the next 5 or 10 minutes. But for the next 5 or 10 minutes, shoot me a DM, ask me questions. I'll send you the link. The link is there. givesendgo.com/solutionary. We literally need 988 more $100 donors. We buy the building and we are done. We need to have this one building that can be that litmus test where we got 2 apartments upstairs. If you want to come teach a class, you ain't even got to pay for a hotel. It's got a rooftop deck. We are really, really going to do this professionally and solid. Commercial space downstairs, all of that. My point is, we need everybody's help. We can't say these guys are doing it wrong and not get behind organizations that are doing it right. So if you got some value from the conversation today, please, guys, givesingo.com/solutionary. Follow me on whatever platforms you see me on. Shoot me messages right now for the next 4 or 5 minutes before I get ready for this next interview. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me on. I
Thank you
apologize
for
for being a
having.
little bit
Thank you
late.
so
Coming
much.
on.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you. You're
y'all.
always
Thank
welcome.
you.
All right. Peace.
Okay. And somebody also said, we got to get back to doing what everyone knows in their hearts is the right way to live. We learned that shit when we were 5, how to treat others with respect. Let's start there, y'all, and have a great day. Because at the end of the day, we need to learn how to respect each other, and I feel like a lot of times with these young people, like with that older generation, a lot of us came up kind of strict because a lot of us had the parents that, really didn't play the radio, and we know not to do certain things because we knew it was consequences and repercussions, right? But with their younger generation, a lot of times they're looking at social media, the people on TikTok doing this, ones on Facebook doing this, Instagram doing this, and then they want to go out and copy what they're seeing others do. Like these fights that you see that are taking place in these restaurants. All of that is not necessary at all. So once again, like my Mr. Taj was saying, that's why that conflict resolution comes in handy, because when you have that type of training, it helps to make a big difference in teaching people how to think twice before they have a reaction to something that's going to lead to life-serving consequences of of something that you might not actually be ready for. So a lot of times you got to think twice.
I wanted to shout out Benji's comment.
Yes.
Benji said there is no Black community. There are only Black individuals responsible for themselves. And that is factually why there is no growth within the Black population in America, because there's no community. You hear about the Asian community, you hear about the Jewish community, you hear about the Hispanic community. There is no Black community. That was an awesome comment, Benji, because it's 100% true. There are no Black leaders, and there's no Black community. We haven't had a Black leader since Malcolm X died. So when a group of people have no leadership, of course they are going to fall into disarray. Barack Obama was not a leader. Barack Obama was the president. So awesome comment, Benji. Awesome comment. We have another clip, I'm sure, Mark. Do you want to roll it? Oh, not this one. Not this one. Not this one. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That was it. I'm so sorry. That was it. I'm so sorry. We're going to crescendo into a bigger issue now.
According to academia, we are in a period called civil strife in the United States.
The American political landscape right now is very dry tinder.
History has shown you go to greater and greater extremism, and then you have battle.
And then the open insurgency stage, you start to see a sustained series of attacks.
70 or more deaths per year for political purposes. So far this year, the number is 30, and last year was higher than that.
There have been 30 deaths in 2025.
Yes.
The suspect in the New Orleans vehicle attack has been identified by the FBI.
Autopsy on the guy who tried to kill President Trump.
A man is charged in connection with an arson at the Pennsylvania governor's residence while Governor Shapiro and his family slept inside.
We are looking at, it is administrative, but it's also kinetic, and it's worse than it's ever been. At the highest level of culture in the liberal faction, They are celebrating terrorism.
Oh, you guys like petty acts of domestic terrorism, huh? Cool. Wow. Okay.
They are celebrating the murder committed by Luigi Mangione.
Free Luigi!
They're all points of conflict across the country, but it is sporadic right now.
It seems like tap for tap. That's kind of my.
You mean
so?
You mean the right started fighting back?
The right is fighting back.
So I think this is a very important situation because it's actually a notch above the situation that we have right now with the Carmelo and Anthony situation. This is basically saying that our parties, our government, our constituents are celebrating or promoting terrorism for political gain. And if we look at how the FBI will report on the killer that or the shooter that they say tried to kill President Trump, all of these different, what you heard about the politician Shapiro, who was at home and they set his house on fire. He's saying that we have these corresponding number of events annually that are, whether they're premeditated or constructed, it has to do with the parties and our beliefs within, our humane constituents or inhumane constituents. Just like you have people applauding or celebrating the destruction of Tesla. We have to look at what's behind that. And I thought Tim Pool made a very good observation on what is actually happening in our country on a schedule, annually to keep this upheaval happening in our country. And we're continuing to see it. And this, just this last case of Carmelo Anthony is just probably the last. But then we've had 2 school shootings in 2 days. We had one yesterday and we had one today. So if we look at these events, they're seemingly to roll in a little bit faster than what we're normally used to having to deal with. And so I think that was a very good, very good point made by Tim Pool. There's in the underpinnings of what's happening in our country, there's some rumblings of evil and destructive constructs. So I think that was a point to make aware.
Ways. Okay. Also, I want to talk about here in Miami-Dade County, we have a nurse, and I did not send the clip, but we have a nurse that's on trial. She was a foster parent. Her name is Gina Emanuel, and she's on trial for aggressive, aggravated child abuse. With 3 foster sisters died in her care. Those kids were malnourished. They had been beaten. They had been punished. And it was also rumored that this lady kept the chain on the refrigerator and the refrigerator was locked. My concern with this is that, where was DCF at this lady house, to keep a check on these kids? And this is a very okay. Say the 3 sisters were fostered by Emmanuel in 2014 and then adopted by her in 2017. So why did they allow this lady to adopt these kids? Why? And she killed all 3 of them, and now she is on trial. And I think that is a very, very sad story right there.
I put up a post a few days ago, how we measure evil and how it relates to children. And when you can starve children and watch them deteriorate over time, that's an evil that must be demolished. And so, yes, she's going to have her day in court, but those 3 children whose bodies I'm sure were decimated are, evidence of a different type of evil, because this woman was a nurse. On one hand, she was supposed to be saving lives, and then the oxymoron of it was she was actually killing children. So I'll follow that case. I was unaware of it, but I'll definitely follow that case.
Okay. Also, I have with me Recently, I talked about it before on the previous show that the Board of Commissioners in Miami voted to name some of the streets in the hood after rappers such as Rick Ross, Trina,
Trick Daddy.
Trick Daddy, and Betty White. No, Betty Wright. Betty Wright. So anyway, I have the names of some of these streets, and I'm just gonna name them off. Okay, they're gonna change 62nd Terrace to What's My Name Street. Then you have Act Up Street. Why would you name a street in the hood Act Up Street? They already acting the fuck up. I mean, come on. You already acting the fuck up in the hood.
Whose district is that?
So why name the street Act Up Street? They might as well put Act the Fuck Up Street. Then you got Soul Tie Street, Post and Delete Street, Chase This Money Street, Born and Raised Street, Big Money Baller Street, and we're the best. I'm sure that's DJ Kelly.
Cali.
We are the best street, right? Now, my thing is,
Is this just in the hood or is this all throughout?
Yeah, it's just in the hood because they were saying that some of the rappers like Trina and Trick grew up in the hood. That's what they were saying. So this was the type of thing, to celebrate, I guess, their legacy. But for me, I would like to see some of these streets. Yeah, no pain, no gain street. No pain, no gain. You're right, Benji.
Right.
So what about these? I'm going to say it again. What about these people that own these funeral homes? You have Mitchell, you got Wright Funeral Home, you have so many funeral homes here that have buried so many people, kids and family members that did not have the money, and they basically did it for free. Why not name some of the streets after those type of people that imparted very positive things into the community? What about all these people that have programs that have been feeding people for 25 and 30 years? You got Curly's House. You got Joshua Hard Foundation, Glory Temple Church, the Ship, Friendship Baptist Church, and all of these churches that have been feeding people for years. What about all of these people that have fought really hard? Our old Black seniors that are here in Miami that basically gave their life to make a change and a difference in this community. Why not name some of these streets after them? That's all I'm saying. What do you have to do?
Do you guys
What you
have
gotta do, right?
aldermen?
I mean, do you just have to write songs and sing rap songs about I fucked about 5 or 6 best friends in order to get a street named after you in Miami? Is that what you have to do? Is that, I mean, really, you talking about songs that some of these songs are really demeaning, but yet to me, it's like they're glorifying that type of thing.
I mean, I'm trying to look at the city council members. You guys have aldermen. Like, what's your? Because that would be a city council situation. Unless it's just an honorary way, and they're not changing the streets altogether. Because an honorary way is just an additional sign that's put up with, and the original street name stays. So I'm thinking. I mean, and they could be changing. I can't see them changing.
But maybe it's just an honorary way. But yeah, it's still, like I said, you have so many people that have really
that should have honorary
that
way.
should have streets. They have named one after Curly.
Right.
My mentor, Cousin King, the renowned, well-known beautician that helped so many people back in the day to really take care. She helped them take care of their kids. She helped families be able to provide food for these people on the table. Name a street after her.
Have you talked to your city council person about that?
I can. You know I can.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do, because if you don't tell them, how are they supposed to know that this is
Well, you know
supposed
one thing about me, I don't have no problems telling them. I don't
Right.
have no problems with that. So, but I'm just saying, it's so many other names,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I'm just telling you to take action and go get Curly up honorary way.
Oh, she deserve it. She
Go get
deserves
Curly her street.
She really deserve it. Because that was one woman that really helped to make a difference in a lot of young women's life.
And still
You know?
is. And
Yeah,
still
still is, including me. Including me. I mean, I learned so much by working with her because she never had a problem sharing. You could work with people, especially in certain fields, but they don't want people to learn what it is that they know. But she was not that type of person. She never mind sharing with other young people so that they can learn and do better. Because doing better is the most important thing, about any situation. Yeah, you got it. Esther Roll, Mary McLeod, Bethune, you know, more positive. Let's see some positive things taking place. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the next subject. And what you got, Travion? I know you got something.
Okay, I think we can go out on this clip. Can you roll the
Okay,
last
go
clip?
ahead. Go ahead.
I think if every trans woman who was arguing on TikTok Live currently about whether or not trans women are valid in female spaces just went into a woman's bathroom, peed standing up, looked at a turf while walking out, and said fucking cry about it, we'd live in a better world. I think
I think that there has to be legislation made to prevent these types of situations with serious jail time, because they are getting obnoxious in the actions that they're trying to have trans people engage in women's bathrooms. So eventually I was looking at what it would take on the state levels, as far as a budget, what it would cost each state to implement these restrictions and legislations, statewide. And it'll be about $15 million per state to protect women in women's restrooms. And I've looked into this for like maybe the last 3 or so months. But if we could get it approved on a federal level, that would make the punishment a lot more severe. And that's something that I'll be pushing, on the Hill, to see if we can get this administration to make these actions punishable for the safety and the protection of young girls and women, because apparently we're not taking it as serious as they are. So, I thought it would be important to showcase what these trans people's intentions are, so that we are more aware. We're definitely not going into these restrooms alone. Unfortunately, you never know who's going to be, in that last stall. And they're pushing this rhetoric, this harmful rhetoric, amongst themselves. And they're not even ashamed about it. They're making it public. So I'm going to make sure that, this administration hears how important they've taken, huge steps, to get men out of women's sports. And I'm like, there's still a step that needs to be taken. It needs to be a punishable offense on a federal level when these men go in and attempt to, do their business how they see fit, and even being harming, women and girls in restrooms. I think there needs to be a federal legislation, push for this situation to be made a federal crime.
And I agree with you. Women's safety should come first. Women's rights should come first. A lot of times, when you're in the bathroom, in public places, you can't tell, because some of them look just like women. And you cannot tell, not unless they have like big, extra big hands or something. You be like, damn, that woman got some big ass hands.
They're normally like 6'5", so
yes, because that happened to me recently. I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and I just happened to look over. I was like, damn, that woman got some ass hands. And like, okay, is that a girl or what? So a lot of times you can't really tell because they look just like women. I mean, the hair, the face, everything look like, but the hands was really huge. So I'm like, I don't think that's a girl.
Imagine going to the nail salon and you see 3 men getting pedicures, and I mean wide back, big head, just like that. It's it ruins the experience.
Joanna, man.
They need to get their own trans salons, because you go to salons to get manicure, pedicure, relax, but you can't relax when you've got 3, giant jolly green giant with sparkly wigs on and just looking 6'3", just looking like they can harm every woman in the nail shop. So I'm like, I think I just really have to push this issue of making this legislation, these actions, a federal crime. And that's not impeding. That's not impeding on anybody's rights. What it is, it's preventing incidents that will undoubtedly continue to happen as they get more flagrant in their, actions. So.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I mean, like I said, women's safety and definitely kids' safety. Kids' safety should always come first. So that is very, very important. So we do need legislation to make a difference.
And with that, we want to thank Mark, our stand-in producer. You did a
Mark,
great job, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
I'll let you do the closing words.
Oh, Jesus, this has been a real show. A really, really interesting. So much information that Taj gave. And please, the conflict resolution thing is really important. It's really important. Hell, I need to take that class myself. And I need to take that class myself. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today on this show. Thank you for our guests that always join us every week. I see you, Nora, Benji. Whenever you want to come on, you're always welcome. If you also would like to join us on the stage, please inbox me, Laverne Spicer or Travian, and let us know that you would like to join us on this show. We don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, from the damn planet Mars. We don't give a damn where you're from. If you want to come on this stage and, just have a conversation with us, it's fine. It's fine. We're really open to that. And like I said, you just inbox us and we'll make it happen. And I also want to say that everyone's opinion on this show is expressed by them. So everybody here might not agree with what someone is being said. So their opinions are their own. So I'm saying that to say, Rob, when I see you out in public, don't come and say, Laverne, I know you was, talking shit about me on your show. No, that's not the case. I was not. So, like I said, everyone's opinion may not be the other person's opinion. Right. So everybody is expressing their own feelings about how they feel about, whatever the situation is. Okay. So Travia.
That was conflict resolution that you just explained right there. So I don't know if you need that class.
I need it. Trust me, I need it. I need some conflict resolution. Yes, I do.
Good. That was pretty good conflict where you was resolving the issue before it even.
Yeah, I'm gonna resolve the issue right now
Yes.
before it starts. Because you know, people, oh Rob, did you know Laverne was talking about you on the show today? No, I was not.
Yeah,
So I'm just
I forgot he
straighten
did
it
your
out
neck of
before
the
they
woods.
even throw it out there. Because you know how people are. They go and say stuff, and that's not what was said. So I'm just letting it be known before it even get there. Okay.
Right. Well, I said what I said, and we would love to have you on, Rob, and we can all discuss this because I think there were a lot of people that were perturbed by that post that you made since you wanted to speak on a completely a whole group of people who in your comments certainly did not didn't agree with you. So, but nonetheless, I would love to thank you all for coming on today. It was a great show. I think a lot of topics have been touched on. Hey, Benji, thank you so much for that comment because that comment was hitting. There is no such thing as a Black community. There are only Black individuals who are responsible for themselves. And that is why Black America cannot catch up financially, educationally wise, with other groups in this country. So I think, if there's going to be anybody that's going to come to the table and try and, help the community on a macro level, that needs to be addressed. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
So
We
much. Thank
appreciate
you so much. And Travis, let me tell you something that really applies to today because with the influx of immigrants that are here, they're in everybody's community. Okay, they are in my community is I would say probably about 60 or 70% of Hispanics. It's not all Black anymore. So some people show up from time to time and they're like, okay, why are you feeding so many Hispanic people? Because bitch, they in the fucking community.
They're in the community.
What the hell you think? You know what I'm saying? They live here too. They're part of the community and we don't turn anybody down. I don't give a shit where they from.
Exactly.
But anyway, you're right about that. And all of these communities are truly mixed. They are truly mixed. And
maybe in population, but not in culture.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. They are mixed in population.
Right.
They are mixed in population. And that culture is another show for another time and another day. So right now, we're going to go ahead on and close this show out today. Thank you all for joining us on the Hood Conservative Podcast. And see you next week right here on Thursday. And if I'm not here, Travian will hold the show down and like a vice rise. Okay. But anyway, see you all next week, same place, same time. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Laverne Spicer, and I'm asking for your support today. Thousands of Americans struggle to get food, and they wonder where their next meal is going to come from. But I'm here, been working with them for over 25 years to provide food to people that need it the most, right here at our community food bank. So today, I'm asking you for your support. Please provide a contribution to help make a real difference in our community and to help us feed people. And you can do it right here. Donate today on Cash App. And you will see the link above.
I